Good evening, everyone. I wanted to talk tonight about colonial education in America, and I wanted to talk about what I've learned, what I know, and what I'd like to know. I think this was one of our most interesting weeks of reading. One of the things that I did not know was that the foundation of higher education in America was set up to cause problems initially because the faculty body was responsible for disciplining students early, and that put them at odds with one another, and it wasn't until faculty was relieved of that responsibility that the tensions lessened. I had no idea there were so many riots, and the students had such a strong voice. I don't know that they really had as much power as they may have had later, but I did not realize that they were so outspoken. I also learned that the cause of Native American education was really a front to raise money for other entities, including businesses and better schools, better institutions for English-speaking students. And that was all done under the guise of raising money for Native American students, and they misused those funds completely, and very few Native American students were educated or even entered higher education. I didn't realize that education was such an important part of the mission to convert the Native American population. I knew that they were considered heathen and needed to be converted to Christianity, and that was a goal of some of the more pious people, even though probably that was even a sort of front for gaining power and control of their land and their resources. But in any case, I didn't realize that education played a role in sort of that abuse that they suffered. What I know now after reading is that the key to success with students really lies in the faculty body. I think creating the kind of shared learning experience that students had at Cambridge and Oxford initially would probably greatly improve the experience that our students are having today. I don't know if my favorite time in all of my education was graduate school, because I think I shared a sort of camaraderie with my faculty, and I was given a completely different kind of respect. I did my graduate and undergraduate work at the same institution, and so I had a completely different relationship with the same faculty, and that made my educational experience so much more gratifying and gave me so much more control over it. And I've often wondered why we don't try to create that same kind of environment for undergraduates. If becoming empowered through education is our goal, then somebody got that right 500 or 600 years ago or longer in Britain, and that was one of those key elements that we failed to emulate in the United States, and I think we've suffered a little bit because of that. I think I learned again that we manipulated the Native American population through education, through the promise of something that probably they didn't even want in the first place. But over time, I know we read that they began to kind of ingratiate into society when they realized that their time to live the way that they wanted to live and to live the way they had lived for thousands of years was coming to an end. I regret that that's a ploy that we used, because I hate to see education become that political. What I would like to know is whether or not there are institutions today that do promote that kind of relationship between faculty and students. And I I guess it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, I was at the Small College Conference for SACS in Atlanta, and Terry O'Banion was speaking. He did the keynote, and he mentioned a university that is moving from giving grades to giving a completion. And the student would stay enrolled in the course or continue to work on the course until he completed or she completed the curriculum, and then would get credit, which I think is similar to what a lot of the European institutions do. It ironically met with great regard with the small colleges, but he told us that the universities were fighting very hard against that idea because we would lose all kinds of rigor and credibility. But he was very much in favor of that kind of an institution that rewarded the students when they had completed the knowledge and did not try to assess their quality, because the completing the course showed the kind of mastery that the institution was looking for. I don't remember what the college was, and I don't know what the outcome of that ever was, but that was intriguing for me. I'd like to know when the Native American serving institutions began to get chartered, and what their accreditation system is. I'm sure that they're accredited by the same agencies that we are, but I don't know if they have any different governorship because of their role on the reservation and their being under that jurisdiction, or if they just fall under the same SACS criteria that we do. And another thing I'm really interested in finding out is what caused this significant change in focus. In the Harvard Charter between 1846 and 1650, it seemed clearly to be interested in the amount of trading and buying and selling that could go on at the institution in 1650 that had only gotten a mention in a requirement of no more than sixpence without all kinds of different permission in 1646. So that's intriguing to me because it seemed to shift in its charter very far from its religious mission. I don't know if they just assumed students already knew that coming in, or if they decided it would be more beneficial to regulate the kind of trade that was going on. But those are the things that I'd be interested in finding more about. And I want to thank you for your time, and I'll see you all on Thursday when we chat some more.